So today's the big day. We're gonna finally quit procrastinating on doing this carpet job. It's pretty amazing how tore up this rubber floor is for a car that only had 60,000 miles on it when we got it. So we're gonna be installing, we're gonna take the rubber floor out and go to the auto custom carpet, carpeted flooring. Got it sitting up here in the sun. Although I suspect it'll fit just fine. These come with the jute style insulation and padding already on the carpet, so hopefully it'll take minimal fitment to put in. Isaac's already taken out his center console. We're gonna go ahead and get these seats taken out, and then we'll get a look at what it's going to take to rip the floor up, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty easy. So we'll get that done and then come back. So we're pretty fortunate that this car has never really seen any rust type environments, and of course it doesn't have very many miles on it. And it's only 8 or 9 years old, so that helps too. I've heard a lot of stories about people snapping these studs off or breaking the bolts out of the front, but I don't think we're going to run into any problems like that. And yeah, the 4 across the back of the front seats are studs, and then if I remember right, the 4 across the front are bolts. So the studs take a 18 millimeter and a 13 millimeter. Now I think we're ready to slide the seats back and get to the bolts in the front. I think did you check the front size yet, bud? They might be 15s. They're either 13s or 15s in the front. So far it's looking like we can get onto all of these without needing to use a ratchet, which is 13s. And then of course we got, I think it's either 1 or 2 electrical. I think there's 2 connectors for the driver's seat. One for the power motors and one for the airbag system. Possibly 1 airbag connector for the passenger seat if I remember correctly. No rust. Oh, if there's any rust, it's just surface rust. Looking good so far, though. These are some pretty massive single seats. I don't know if I'd call them a bucket seat. They're more like a split bench seat. Nice. So I think that was the hard part, boys. Nice recliner. Yeah. Okay. The lighting in here really sucks. Alright, so we got all these professional YouTubers with their We got all these professional YouTubers with their fancy lights and stuff. So there's our one connector for the passenger seat. I'm gonna get him undone. What the hell is that? Never know what you're gonna find in an old cop car. Some pretty gross stuff under here though. So anyways, like I said, I'll get that unplugged and then we'll get the stuff unplugged on the passenger side. There's the button. Okay. And then you can push down on the button and it comes right undone. Oh, I feel like I've gotten into something sticky already. There you go. Will it fit just in on the ground? Yeah. All right, let's go see what the driver's side entails for wiring. It might just be one, which would be nice. Like a lot of jobs we do around here, I don't always do a lot of research. I just kind of wing it. There we go. Two connectors.
Two connectors hooked up to one wire.
You got that seat, bud?
Yeah.
Alright, two connectors undone. Try not to snag them when we're taking the seat out. A lot of people have a hard time finding this. I know we did when we first got this car. It was horrible to drive because somebody maxed the lumbar out in it. This is the weirdest spot to put a lumbar switch, but that's where it's at. Power in it. Got it? That's all the deliciousness that was underneath the driver's seat. So I think Isaac's gonna vacuum out the big chunks so we're not wallering in this stuff when we rip the floor out, and then we'll rip the floor out.
Sounds like candy stuff melted.
Yep.
Melted.
I'm gonna go find the Torx bit for taking the seatbelt loose. And we can just let that hang. I don't even think we're going to take the back seat out because this floor only goes underneath that back seat like a few inches. If I had something that I could grab onto the floor. Yeah, it just barely goes underneath the back seat. There you go. So if anybody wants a free rubber floor, they better come and get it quick. Next. Yeah, cop car wiring.
Got a penny under
A penny? Not too bad, really.
Yeah.
Anybody need some Ethernet cable for anything? think we're going to start at the front. So we're just going to leave that flopped over. So yeah, this is going to be the biggest thing we're going to have to figure out is up there. So this, it kind of goes without saying, you don't want to cut it twice and it's still too short. You just got to kind of pick at it. Okay, so we set the new carpet over the old rubber floor to just kind of get an idea of size. The hardest part of doing this is these new carpets. They don't come with any holes in them. So we get to figure out where to put all the holes. I think what we're going to do is kind of lay the wiring down flat on the floor, and we're just going to put this thing in the car
Lift it up and go
and just kind of get it fit into place and get the holes poked as it starts laying down into position, if that makes sense. Overcome is that the transmission hump. It looks like in the police interceptors there might be some more stuff up there underneath the dash. All Crown Vics might be like that, but I'm not sure. I've never touched another Crown Vic besides this one.
Shoving it under the seat first.
I think we're going to start at the front.
Okay.
So we're just going to leave that flopped over. So yeah, this is going to be the biggest thing we're going to have to figure out is up there. So this, it kind of goes. So we're working on poking the holes for the front seat brackets. Back here there's 2 studs, and up here there's 2 bolt holes.
The studs are easy.
So I've literally just been taking this pick from underneath the car and poking it up through the carpet.
Dude,
So we're basically chopping these holes open with a pair of flush cutters until we open up the carpet about a 1/2 inch. We don't want to go too far. Ow! When you hit your head on a car door, the door always wins.
found one.
Are they on the floor?
No, one fell in here.
The other one's got to be in there too then.
Take the camera.
We might have to lift that seat up. Taking that seat out's not the worst thing on earth. So here's how much.
I could see that one.
You can see the bolt?
No, I could see the one that I found.
Oh. That's how much of the carpet that we removed to expose the bolt hole. We're going to go retrieve our other bolt from out from underneath the back seat. And then we'll come back. So we ended up yanking the back seat out real quick. It's super easy. We should have just done it to begin with. But basically on the back seat, you shove it to the rear of the car and then lift up on it. There's just 2 clips. I've noticed with those Kershaws, if you go too deep with the scissors, it gets mad. So cut in the, about midway down the scissors. So what Isaac's doing right now is just cutting a notch out of the back of the carpet so that the clips are exposed, and then we'll just leave those flaps of carpet hanging underneath the back seat. We're getting there. So we're gonna finish cutting this hole getting this front kick panel fit, and then we're going to tackle cutting the slots for the wire harnesses, the HVAC ducts, and the studs, and then it's going to be almost done. That shouldn't be where the stud is at, but
That's what it feels like it's at.
yeah, let me take a look at it with you. So right now we're cutting holes for the rear studs. So there's a slot in the insulation, which I'm assuming is supposed to be where the seat stud's supposed to come through, but it doesn't seem to quite make it that far. So yeah, what we're finding is that jute padding for the passenger side of the car is over the top of the rear seat studs, which is making it hard to cut through. Driver's side did not have that problem at all. So we're just gonna have to adapt and overcome. Okay. The nice thing about the electrical is there is slots.
Maybe that's what that slot's for.
Just tack those two nuts on over there, bud.
Oh yeah.
Actually, just do the inner one, because we'll need to lift the carpet up a time or two. So I think what I'm going to do is grab the tape measure. We'll use the old floor referencing the seat studs, and we're just going to make a cut, because obviously these cuts are underneath the seats. So we'll get that done, and we'll just about be ready to tuck the back in. And actually we need to do those HVAC slots too, using the seat bolt holes and the studs diagonally at 12 inches is where the slot will be in this carpet. Which way was it running? Sideways? I think it was sideways. Okay, so the factory cut was at H. We're just going to replicate that, even though it's probably not necessary. Just like that. Let me take this nut off here, because you won't be able to get that connector out of it. Or I stabbed it.
Just shove it in there. Your camera.
Come on there, special. Okay. So there's our wire harness for
Done.
passenger side. We'll need to go in there again.
Oh.
Ugh. All right. Right. You want to use the scissors, bud? So this we want to try and keep. I don't remember if this is exposed or not. I think the seat's kind of over the top of it, but try and make your hole somewhat presentable. is an HVAC blowhole. Right there. We'll see how Isaac does with the box knife. It's a little trickier.
Need scissors now.
That will be just fine.
There are no seatbelt holes.
Oh, I forgot about those. I was hoping we were done.
Almost.
Make sure it's started just right. There you go. I don't know that you are in there all the way. Make sure you're totally square. Okay. All right, we're here. We might as well finish this side.
Yeah, can I fall? This too?
Maybe, maybe not. I'm inclined to leave it for the moment.
Definitely this side.
Okay, stuff that stuff. Okay, so what we ended up doing to not fight this trim panel so much is just biting the bullet and taking it loose. Not that it's really hard to pop loose, but it's the only way we could get this piece of carpet to lay up in there nicely. There we go.
Center console's the least of my worries.
No center console?
No. Not saying that. Not at this very moment.
It's not going to be fun finding those holes. So we got the carpet laid in there, and overall the fit and the molding is pretty good. So we've got all the edges tucked in, just a little bit of trimming down the edges. You might be able to get it in there with it full width without cutting it, but I think it would be kind of bunched up and sloppy at the edges. So this is the piece. That's about how much that we took out for the transmission hump. It ended up being a little bit more than that, but like I said at the beginning, it's one of those where you don't want to cut it twice and it's still too short. That being said, this is worlds better than how the completion facility had it all chopped up for the center console that the police department was using. So we're gonna get the seats plugged back in and try and find the two holes for the center console, and then this project should be done. There's the outlets for the HVAC pipe. Okay, so this will probably be the final installment. I know it's a black carpet and a black car. Let's see if we can get a little bit of light to show through. This is Auto Custom Carpets carpet kit, pre-molded, insulated. It's got the jute on it. For Crown Vics, I assume this fits Grand Marquis and maybe the town cars. But anyways, I'm not even sure if there's additional colors, to be honest with you. We went straight for black. It's what showed up. This came off of eBay. Apologize, we purchased this all the way back in December, and I don't remember how much it cost, to be honest with you, but it was pretty reasonable. I'll see if I can put a link in the description, and that way we'll know what it cost. I feel like it was like $160, and if that's the case, I think it's going to be well worth it. We just got to be patient when you're putting it together. Be real patient. Measure it, cut it, try and cut it right on the first try. If you need to, trim off a little bit more. Like I said earlier in the video, this transmission hump is 1,000 times better than it used to be. Very, very happy with that. So yeah, now I think what we're going to do is head down to O'Reilly's or AutoZone and see if we can find some big old gnarly all-weather floor mats to do what most people do when they get to carpet. They immediately revert back to putting rubber on top to protect it. So I say that somewhat sarcastically. This looks very nice. This does have the rubber piece molded into the driver's floor for the gas pedal and the brake pedal, but like I said, I think we're going to go ahead and get some heavy mats to go up over the top of all that stuff to cover all this up, protect it from the crappy winter weathers we have around here. So that's now. This was before. Pretty gross. This car was in service for approximately 7 years. Like it a lot. About where you used to be. It's almost like a brand new car. If you guys have any questions on what we did to put this in, you go ahead and put them in the comments down below and we'll answer them the best that we can.